DMG taking down Team of the Week for their first win of the split with the sub. There's so much to talk about this. I want to start about the early game because we were talking about, okay, they need to meet their requirements, their winning condition, and then we got that invade coming in from Viego.
Yeah, so I feel like this early game started pretty bad for DMG. I think Swift was way too over-eager on his invades. He was getting caught out on wards when he was moving in. It ultimately ended up costing his team quite a lot. But like he really stuck to the guns, and normally I'd get quite irritated with that and kind of call him out. And I was off air. I was going, why are you making these constant invades when either you don't have the pressure to do so, or you could be achieving something else on the map? But I will give it to him. They had that one invade fairly early on in the game where he got that triple kill or like a double kill, and he was level 4 at 7 minutes, and then he went from that to being like giga fed off one team fight. And obviously it wasn't just Swift, like his whole team played really well, but you see the power of the Viego when you can kind of stack those kills up one after the other, and you can steal form after form after form and basically get that Zhonya's of a healing in, making him so hard to pin down and kill in the middle of the fights. But like Swift basically went from being out of that game to being unlocked for the future stages of that game.
Eragon, I want to understand afterwards because we saw a massive team fight at 7 minutes in where we thought, okay, there's the ball delivery system, there's the composition coming in from natives that work so well together, but somehow it didn't work.
Yeah, so when it comes to a lot of these team fights, right, you can look at any single one of them. Usually with these kinds of compositions, it's about who gets the engage off first, because you have on one side a Viego composition where you play for the resets with that initial burst. You have a Varus ulti or Rakan ulti into the one shot and the Syndra ult too. If you secure the Viego reset, typically you win. Right, but on the other hand, you have a ball delivery system. So if you have the Vi, and we saw it multiple times, Vi with the Orianna ulti, that usually can set up stage for a win as well. So it's basically who engages first and who pulls off the fight first. And a lot of the time, it was actually DMG. So massive props to them because it's not easy when you're coming together as a essentially new team. You got to fill top laner now. So yeah, just really impressive stuff.
I really want to talk about that Phil top laner as well. I honestly, for Carbs, genuinely impressed. They're a Phil top laner. They dealt with Smurfy as much as they could. Obviously, Smurfy on Trundle with 4 Void Grubs, with all the items they needed. Obviously, didn't have a Hull Breaker, but they had everything else, like the Triforce and the Titanic and everything like that. So they were pretty comfortably set up as a Trundle to be able to split push. And the only reason that game went anywhere near as long is because of how well Smurfy played it. But the only reason that game didn't end was because Carbs actually kept him on a leash. As much as you can keep a rabid dog on a leash, he kept him on a leash and kept control of that game. Because there were multiple times where I was like, oh, Smurfy's just going to win the game. He got them down to 1 Nexus turret. And all it took was one little lapse in judgment, one little misplay. Smurfy will just one-shot a tower of a single wave, or even a couple of minions at that point. He had Demolish, he had everything he needed. But Carbs, the field top laner who came in last minute, not prepared for this game, picked up that Ornn, did his role. But not only that, his team fighting was really good. There's one fight towards the end of that game where in the base, Smurfy tried to jump under the tower to go get a kill, and Carbs got a 3-man Ornn ult, knocking up the entire backline so they couldn't join the fight. Smurfy in this time was isolated with Yaki. Yaki and Smurfy got taken out. By the time the Ornn had finished using all his spells and finished kind of like dealing with them, the front line for natives was out. And then there was a fantastic punish that came in from DMG. Massive upset. I swear Wednesday is the upset day. I'm very happy about this upset. I'm happy to see DMG prove me wrong, considering I said this was going to be a slam dunk. And honestly, I saw some life in them, which I think we've been lacking. One other little thing before I stop rambling. I just want to say, Liam Cole, thank you for not playing Aphelios. You look so much better on the Varus. It really suited the team, and I think he did his job fantastically in that game.
You know what? I'll toss it to the interview with Liam Cole just because of that. just because of that. Let's talk with him and understand a little bit better. So, first of all, congratulations. You got the W. You got the champion that is not Aphelios, but this was a hard game for you guys. How are you feeling, first of all?
I'm really tired. Like, I think it was a pretty long game. And
but you got the Vanos. It's not the Aphelios. How was the team as well? Because you jumped into the game with a sub. Obviously, that is going to affect your mental. So tell me, walk with me through the beginning of the game. How were you guys feeling? What was your perspective of the game? Tell me a little bit about the beginning of the game.
I think we were feeling kind of fine. Like there was nothing we could do about the situation, and we just the new top laner just to stick to our game plan, and it worked out. So
Okay. Once you get to the mid of the game, you have such a big lead. You were like 20 something plus kills while they were still not in 10 kills. So that's a massive boost, not on your gold confidence, but somehow you guys couldn't finish. Did the panic start to settle in?
yeah, I could listen to the comms, and for some of the players they were panicking much, but I think it's good we have Pearson who is experienced, so he was kind of leading the team.
So this is your first victory. Liam, tell me, what's your thought or your emotions running through you right now on this league? Because you just started. It's natives. It was the team of the week. You took them down with a sub. What's next?
Yeah, what's next? We're winning tomorrow probably, and then
That's
we'll get
it?
more wins. No, we win tomorrow, get more wins, and we'll just keep improving.
Game by game, game by game.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about this patch, because I was talking with Eragon, and it's a big one. It's going to affect a little bit on the meta, and you're already playing champions that are not currently favored by the meta. It's not that they're bad. It's just that it takes a little bit longer to activate, and it's complicated to play as an AD carry right now. How are you feeling with this new patch?
I feel like it's kinda the same as the last patch. Like it's still like a pretty boring with just playing poke. Just hoping we get some changes in the future.
I understand, because you're used to play with guns and now you're playing with snipers from afar or bows because you can't get close to the fights. I understand the pain. You have to be 2 screens away to be safe. Well, that's the AD carry life for you. Thank you so much, Liam, for this interview. Best of luck for tomorrow. Congratulations on the W. Keep it up, my man. Have a nice one.
Thank you very much.
Man, I'd be a lot more ecstatic with that win. That was, I guess the thing is, like, that was probably a very draining game. Like, the whole time you're stressed about Trundle. I mean, everyone who's watching this stream, who's played the game, knows what it's like. When a split pushing Trundle gets strong, it's such a stressful game, because every good play, you have to be thinking, was it good, or did Trundle just get a tower for that? And that's basically what that game felt like. It was like every time they made a good play, they lost something in return. And that win condition against them was slowly moving with every good play. Honestly, fantastic game there by DMG. And I don't think that shores up all of my concerns about DMG. I still think there was a lot of sloppiness in this game, but it was a massive step forward, like a real improvement from what we've seen from the last couple of weeks.
I just want to highlight as well, like, even more props than we've given, because it's so hard for new teams to play against split push. The pros talk about it all the time, right? Because you have to be very coordinated in the way that you ebb and flow to defending, to being able to move forward. And this Trundle is just, it's the epitome of split push, right? So I am so surprised they won, but they managed to pull it off, defending bot side with the wave clear. They could have Syndra hold, they could have Ornn hold, but yeah. I think we have an interview now with Yaki.
Yaki is ready for us for the interview, so let's jump into it as fast as possible. There you go. Yaki, this one is a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless.
I want to know more, but if you're speechless, like, we gotta take it out of you.
I mean, if I talk, I'm in trouble, right? After this game.
Okay. Let's go step by step. Obviously, you had such a good beginning with the Vi, and also you were aware of the enemy jungler. Then at 7 minutes in, you get the perfect team fight, you get the shockwave, everything was going accordingly. You got the split pusher versus the sub.
Yeah, I mean, we had everything to win this game, but we didn't stick to the plan, and we just make mistakes after mistakes. It's weird.
I want to ask you something, because it seemed to me that at some points the plan was perfect. We got to engage this, we got to do that, we got to do this. But the team was not coordinated itself. Sometimes you would go in like, perfect window, let's go in. And it took the team at least 3 seconds to join in, and you were just exploded. So did you feel the same, or?
Yeah, I feel that like from the start of the game, honestly. Like we were not on the same page, like from the beginning of the game, so it kinda backfired and we lost.
Yaki, I'd love to ask a question if you can remember much of the game, because it's pretty hard in these long games if you can remember some sequences, right? So there was a sequence where, Smurfy already had the tier 2 bot. Baron was up. It's pretty early on, like 20-something minutes. And he would push bot lane, shift into mid, and you guys would get vision topside. Do you remember that? Topside jungle?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
I do.
But then he overstayed, and then the way bot side pushed out, and he had to go back, and the enemy just took the vision back again, right?
Yeah.
Do you think not maintaining the topside vision was crucial there to not accelerating the game? Because you really want to keep it pushed. You want to maintain vision in case they overstep and punish them, right? That was what really caught my eye.
Yeah, like I said before, like we had everything. Like I think we controlled the game honestly. Like not only kill wise, right? We were kind of behind on it, but yeah, we had perfect plan, but I don't know, we didn't execute it always for some reason. So
understandable.
Yeah.
Yaki, final question for you, if I may. And I gotta hit the nail, you know that. I also give props every single time that I can, but I gotta hit the nail. Do you believe that this loss could cost your team a certain position in playoffs?
No. Like I still believe in us, and actually, honestly, I'm happy that we lost now because we need this wake-up call.
Exactly. Love it. I was thinking the same thing, Yaki. Thank you so much for this interview. Best of luck for tomorrow. Let's see if all the cogs will work together tomorrow as they did previously. Have a lovely
Thank
one,
you.
man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I really agree with Yaki at the end there. Like,
Yes,
I actually
I
think
love
this loss was a very needed loss. It's early enough in the season, but it's not too detrimental. But it is a real wake-up call because there was a lot of mistakes made by them. I have to say, early game, relatively decent until that like bot lane blue side jungle fight. But Yaki himself was the reason that I was getting quite irritated at Shift, because Shift was making quite a lot of silly plays, and Yaki had the read on it every time. But yeah, it was a sloppy game from both teams, and I think natives needed a bad game because you learn more from your losses than you do your victories, right? And this loss came with a lot of lessons.
But with that victory comes in with the MVP for this game. That is, nonetheless, Shift. Shift is the MVP for this one, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. It's going to be Shift with the Viego. Some mistakes at the beginning, but look at him pulling through with 15, 4, and 12, and all those resets in the middle of the team fight. So many team fights. It was so low. We were screaming like, you're surely going to go down. No, he keeps going. So that's the game. That's Shift for the first MVP. Jumping for the second game, Ruddy versus Lightside. Predictions? I don't know, because it could go both ways.
Yeah, so
I think...
Go on, mate.
Oh, yeah, cheers. All right, so... I just think Lightside are going to take it, right? I think at the start of the show, I said, last week, Lightside, they actually looked good, right? They had a really strong early game against, I think, Verdant. Only top side was an issue, I think, against Doxy with Butchie. But even then, he came out ahead against Banderas versus Lions Creed, right? They managed to pick up a game versus, I think, a slumping Lions Creed. So I'm not completely sold that Ruddy are going to absolutely take it, because they, on the other hand, looked a bit out of it, right? They would chain in a lot of the times. They would just constantly make mess ups and then try to come back with individual outplays. I feel like if this team isn't ahead, they fall apart.
But I gotta say, before you move on, that Ruddy, if you look at the bottom, coach Wolverine. So they got a coach.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It was
They're lacking a
announced
coach.
a little bit earlier this week. I took attention to it because I saw it on the channel on Discord. I'm like, this might change things. I was going to vote for Lightside, and I was like, I want to see.
I think, like, obviously, for Lightside, a newer team to the league, a team who people have maybe, not really been able to see much from yet. But on the side of Ruddy, obviously one of the top teams from last season, a team who a lot of people had a lot of faith in. New roster. No one expected it to be quite as strong, but I do think the performance we've had from Ruddy so far has been very disappointing. So this should be their moment to kind of say, right, we got a coach. We've looked at our issues from the first 2 weeks. Let's work on the improving. And we see the Varus first pick. We talked about counter picks into it. The Jhin has been a typical go-to for a lot of teams who don't get that Varus. I really like the Jhin. I think the Jhin is a really nice answer to it. But the big thing I want to talk about is this Neeko. Neeko is a real pain to play versus. She offers so much. Like her poke in lane, very, very irritating. Her teamfight capability, hugely impactful. But I will say Ruddy have started to put some tools together themselves where they've got a lot of CC. You've got the Varus lockdown, you've got the Xin Zhao kind of diving in, you've got the Leona as well. They've got a lot of tools to work with here. So I'm not sure where I'm favoring right now just looking off this draft.
Yeah, so I'm really surprised that certain champs gone through. I really expected it to be either like Jhin Ashe or Varus Ashe because you just get Perm Prior, and that's typically the meta at the moment. It's not going to happen. They're going to get a bunch of melee supports, and Nico here, crucially, is a flex. It's more likely going to go into mid lane here because you have a Nico plus Viego duo, and you can absolutely one-shot and create Viego reset situations very easily. Nico's great with carry junglers. So it does look like they're gonna pinch topside and potentially set up for a blind like the Cassante. Rumble's pretty damn good into it. You could R4 if you want to. I think that's a great takeaway as well for frontline because that's something that they're severely lacking.
Yeah.
I imagine you probably pair this Jhin off with like something like an Alistair, or you could just match into a Nautilus. You can't go Braum because Braum plus Jhin is a horrific combo, even though it's pretty good into Leona. So those are the directions I'm looking at there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking at these last couple of bans coming in, Ruddy, I expect, probably more top lane bans here to coming in and just see what they can get, because I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a top lane counter pick coming in from Ruddy. So actually, maybe they have to pinch that support pool a little bit here and take away things that might be able to deal with the Varus in lane, things that can kind of answer out on that. So they are running the clock down. They are thinking about it. A Rel is going to be the final ban. I like that because right now they don't really have all that much engage on the side of light side. Rel plus Nico, that's a nasty combo for a fight, a big wombo combo. Denying that from the other side. Light side now probably looking to just pick up himself up a support here. Curious what they're going to go for.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to blind pick support. They probably want to give counterpick over to Bucci because he's been getting counterpick a lot. Picking Jason to champions like Gnar, so R5ing him is good. And that's thrown me out of left field. So now they're maintaining the flexes. R4 Galio means that it could be Galio mid or support because it's good into engage supports, or it could be Nico mid or support for the range bot side. I think it's probably going to be Galio support, but I'm sure Ruddy are just as confused. Now, what do you blind pick for top lane here? All right, that's the question. Ornn is something we haven't really seen. I think Cassante is just the best tank at the moment, but... Oh, it's banned. I've been talking about Cassante this entire time. Ornn is going to be locked in there. That threw me off.
Yeah, if you look at the bottom of the screen, mate, it tells you what champions aren't available to be picked.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Just an FYI.
Alex, I mean, this is a big one.
Yeah. I'm really surprised it's not Corki into potentially a
there's
Galio.
no
But I guess it's supposed it is a flank. It is a flank. You have a bunch of natural magic damage, right? With Yone, every other auto, and Ornn, as well as Leona and Varus. But the only thing I'm worried about now is, blind picking Ornn is not very common, right? Because it is fairly counterable. You have a bunch of different answers into it that have potential. Bucci is a carry top lane player. Gwen is one of them. Fantastic anti-tank as well as great into melees. Look at all the melees on the side of Ruddy. So I like how LLS rounded out this draft. However, I think their draft is much harder to play because they have to play for these resets and with a Galio support.
I will say there's a world, right? And hear me out. I'm going to cook here. There's a world where this is AP Varus. If they're really that concerned about the lack of AP. Again, though, I guess the argument against that is there is actually no real tanks on light side.
Yeah,
Galio is the tankiest champion, and he's the support. So he's not going to buy all that much. Yeah. Honestly, looking at the comps, I actually think light side have the easier to execute comp. Like, you can get the Nico into the middle of the team. Yeah. Galio comes in with the backup. You can have Jhin sniping from a distance. We've already seen from the last game what the Viego's capable of doing. You know, on the other side for Ruddy, you obviously have things like the Varus, which is relatively simplistic to pilot, but the Yone, a relatively high skill champion. You know, you've got the Ornn, who's going to have a pretty rough time in lane. I mean, we did see last game what happens if the Ornn just sits and farms and kind of catches waves, and the Gwen's not going to be as impactful in the side lanes as, let's say, a Trundle was. But I do honestly think I really like Lightside's comp. Obviously, their conditions are the squishy Nico goes for the engage, and then they follow it up with the follow-up engage. But I still think that's a pretty solid team that Lightside have put together.
So let's see who's going to take this one. Both teams looking for their second win of the split. But to talk about it further, we have the Fox that drops, and alongside him, quack. Take it
away. Shocking introduction there from Mushroom. Let's welcome over to the caster desk, where Foxtrot and I have managed to cool down after what was a banger of a game number one. If we enter 4 games of that, it will be exciting to see if we both make it through alive. Regardless, though, Excited after this draft is an understatement. Alex still relying on the Yone, but the Galio pick in particular, very peculiar to me.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting, to be honest. So, yeah, Galio, that is definitely something. I think in the, I think we're going to see a lot of dogpiling in the team fights. Really, like everyone jumps in, and then Galio with his ultimate following up as well can really provide a lot of follow-up engage alongside something like the Nico and with Viego jumping in, so that he doesn't just instantly die. It's certainly unique, however, and I do feel as well there's an element of counter engage for the side of LLS that can work in their favor. Because light side, if Ruddy just jump into them with like Zinzao and Yone and stuff like that, Nico ult just gets slapped up and you counter that engage. Galio does something similar as well. So I'm kind of torn between whether I agree with Jake or Aragon about it being an easy to execute draft, because I think, yeah, there's a few ways to play it out, and I probably lean more towards it being a bit difficult, honestly, for LLS, and to that extent, I think Ruddy's got a very simple comp with people like Zin, and Yone just jumping forward.
So, right now, in terms of standing as well, very important game for both these teams, both sitting at a 1-3 scoreline. My main takeaways in both these teams from the first 2 weeks was week 1, Ruddy. Oh wow, they're surprisingly good. I'm excited to see more of this team. Game week 2, okay, tough opponents, but not as good of a performance. Where on Locust Light side, I thought week 1, this looks horrible. I don't know what's in here for them. Game week 2, okay, this is definitely a team they can play. So, where both these teams land coming into week 3 will be very exciting to watch. But it is one that I would say is hard to predict, especially with the draft not really giving a clear winner, in my opinion, either.
Yeah, I would agree with you fully on that one. I think so. Both these teams, for the record, are 1-3. Our only 1-3 teams so far here in the NLC. Lightside actually picking up their only win against Lions Creed, which is surprising because they came into the split as a heavy favorite in the NLC, and Ruddy beating Verdun. So both these teams have shown they have capabilities to take it to the top teams. I'd say overall, Ruddy has looked a bit better, specifically in the mid lane. I think has just been like, I think we've got like a top 2 mid laner there in Alex, top 3 maybe as well. I do still would think that Lightside are potentially underdogs for the matchup. I am looking for Ruddy to take that next step, however, right? Like, I think they have the potential to be, like a top 3, maybe top 4 team in the NLC. They haven't shown that to us yet, though, and unfortunately for them, they are losing to the teams that would otherwise claim that spot, right? They're not losing to like the far and away best teams, and they just have no chance of beating them. They're losing to their peers essentially. So difficult times here for Ruddy as far as the standings go, and I would consider this a must-win game for these guys.
That is a very good point. One of the things that also makes me personally think is the fact that who really is our top 4 at the moment? It is hard to say. We've had teams that, yes, they should be number 1 or number 2, but we just see Natives, our number 1 team, lose a game against DMG, our number 8 team. Lions Creed, preseason tournament favorites, had an 0-2 week last week. I mean, anything can happen, and every game truly counts, because given 3-4 weeks from now, you don't exactly know who you're going up against in terms of fighting for that last playoff spot. So head-to-head matchups will be really important, and it's not just against like the likes of Venom, Crystal, Locust Lightside already. It's against teams like DMG as well, or Nord. Maybe Nord drop out of playoffs. Who knows how they perform today? Or Natives. Everything is up in the air still, so every game truly counts, and I think our league is more exciting than I can ever remember.
For sure, like the parity is ridiculous, and like anyone can beat anyone on any given day. The fact that DMG beat Natives just now, obviously like a 0-win team against a 3-1 team, which is good enough for first place in the league, and when Lightside beat Lions Creed, who were also at the time a 0-win team, it just you just don't know what's going to happen. You can't predict what's going to happen. Both, I would say, all the teams really in the league are still trying to find their footing, trying to show us what they're made of, to be honest, and it's mega exciting because there are 8 teams and only 4 playoff spots. And I said coming into last week that we had
maybe like 6 teams competing for the for 4 playoff spots. And then Lightside beat Lions Creed. It's like, oh, maybe we have 7 teams competing for the playoff spots. And now DMG is just beating Natives. And they were that one team that I thought weren't going to compete for a playoff spot. So I just don't know what's going on anymore in the NLC. I don't know how to call it. And the predictions are just kind of all over the place for me here. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I would still favor Ruddy from what I've seen from them, even in their losses. And because I think they've just got an absolute killer in the mid lane, and he's playing an absolute killer of a champion in that Yone.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. And to me, it's also the question of, can Lightside show what they showed against Lions Creed, where they were on a completely different planet? They dominated that game, and I think they won in like 26, 27 minutes. It was out of this world how good they were. But then it was a bit of a back to reality losing up against Verton. So it's really hard to predict this matchup. I've gone bold because I need to do something to catch back up, and I've predicted 4 points on Ruddy. Didn't go well when I predicted 5 points on Natives. I'm now minus 7. I'm minus 11. Yeah. No, I am minus 7. I was only minus 2 before. So I'm minus 7. A win here for Ruddy will get you back up to 1 point. It is the small things here. But the main point I'm trying to get out is, I have tried in my predictions, and it's looking horrible. And that's not because I'm not smart. That's because our league has been unpredictable. And
it's true.
That is just good content, right? It's good content.
Yeah, I agree. It has been very tough to call. Aragon might disagree with you though, sitting at like plus 20 or something in his coming into the day. So apparently for him, it's easy to predict. We're just having a little bit of a delay here connecting into the game, guys, which is why you're still staring at our ugly mugs instead of some action on the Rift. We will get to that as soon as possible. Ruddy and Lundqvist Lightside looking for their second win, both of them of the split so far. And with those playoff, we're about to hit halfway through the season. Playoffs going to be dwindling away those spots. So I said it before, like a few minutes ago, but I do consider this a must-win specifically for Ruddy because I think they have more to prove. Either way, we're done that in a way here, and let's get on to the Rift. Let's play some League of Legends.
And let me just bring you guys back to why you're looking at this HUD. Well, we are having some technical difficulties with the HUD, so this is why it looks like this. It's not perfect. That's all I'll say, but it's better than absolutely nothing. And with that, we are on to the Rift though, Foxshop, and that's the main point. I do also believe we're having trouble with in-game audio, or maybe that's just me not being able to hear anything from the Rift. It is eerily quiet here as both teams await each other's movement, just holding the entrances.
No, I heard
the in-game sound.
The lady.
It is back. It is back. It was just eerily quiet before.
Well, everyone was standing still, Duckling, mate. So to that extent, I suppose it was a bit of a tumbleweed moment here on the Rift, but I do think we can hear some things. And look at that on your screen on the right. Is that a Gallia support? Oh my goodness, it is.
And Torek, did he get a walk down or something? He just took a...
he tried. That's what he went in for. I didn't see if he actually did get it down, but he lost a little bit of HP there. It's interesting though because Natty used his E, and so that was on cooldown for the chickens, which is actually quite important. So despite doing like 100 damage, maybe 150 to Nico, I actually kind of think that would put him behind like 5-6 seconds. So quite significant there, not having your E to take the AoE camp.
Yeah, and 5-6 seconds might not seem like much, but in terms of your first jungle clear, it is a lot. Getting to the Scuttle first, or getting that early gank, those windows aren't that big in the early game. But I want to talk a little bit about Alex while we have this. You rate him very highly, that's good to say. I think he's had some incredible individual outplays, but I want to see more from him in terms of flexibility. Quite a lot of games on this Shone. He has looked fantastic on it, so it's obvious you pick it up when it is available, but one of the things I think is really important if you want to claim, or if I am personally going to make a claim that one of these guys is good enough to be one of the best in the league, I want to see the adaptability, I want to see the flexibility, being able to play different champions and still look incredible on them.
Yeah, I think part of it as well is like Ruddy's strategy. I think they, especially before this week, it was claimed and kind of like a known fact that this team didn't really have a coach. And when that happens and players are just choosing things for themselves, you're going to get a lot of comfort. you're gonna get a lot of like the same kind of things just going around. And if Roddy knows, especially that Alex has been performing very well, then they're less likely to question it if he does want to slap down a certain champion at any given point. I think it does speak to the talent that he has. He's able to play these style of carry champions as well and still be successful on them. And it does work to Roddy's credit, you know, having such a high carry in that mid lane, the ability to just dominate games and win in skirmishes, like his team fighting especially, has been very, very solid.
Yeah, he has been really good, and I think it's he's been one of the most surprising rookies in my eyes. I'm very happy to see him perform so well. I think Ruddy as a whole, for me, one of the rosters I wasn't sure what to expect from. That surprised me. And in the first week, it was positive. The second week, it was more moderately. But I do still think that they can definitely contest for playoffs. But that just ties back to the point we were making while we were waiting for the delay, that at this point of our league, everything is so up in the air that any team can fight for players in the NLC. Just get a win streak of 2-3 games and you're right up there at near the top of the standings. So any of these teams, Lightside or Ruddy, could be there, but Bucci might find himself in a situation that isn't all too nice. Pops the ghost early on, is able to get out as well, thanks to the help of the Hallowed Mist. And with him being out to safety, we go back to Alex, just stopping the recall for Torek. He just TP'd back, but taking on Jojo. He's down to half HP already.
Yeah, that is slightly unfortunate. I guess denying the recall certainly has its value in that sense, and Alex does have refillable potions, so we'll be able to regen some of that back up. Won't be able to stop this reset, you would imagine, here from Torek. And now it's kind of a lot of focus on the top side of the match as these Void Grublies come through here at the 5-minute mark. We haven't seen Emp do anything just yet. Obviously, Xin as a champion by design does tend to have more early game impact, has better ganks and that kind of thing. So Emp just looking to farm up a little bit more, maybe even ideally going for level 6 before he tries too much happening here. But I do think it could be a little bit difficult to dictate who gets these Void Grubs, because there's a lot of back and forth priority in both these solo lanes.
And with the first resets coming through from this ready bot lane, we are also at the point where the neutral objectives have started to spawn. Both Void Grubs and the Drake is available for the taking. So far, though, the junglers and players have played a very quiet game, just that trading between each other. The only real summon investment that has been made is that goes from Bucci up at the top lane after the gank from Natty Nat. So, slow early game, and Foxtrot, I am expecting big team fights when we get to the 15-20 minute mark. A lot of explosiveness when we really get there, I feel like.
Yeah, I think with both these teams being relatively squishy, specifically on the side of Lightside, yeah, it will be quite explosive. Whoever gets the engage, very much so, it could just find themselves getting a very easy kill. I have to see how that develops as we move on into those points of the game. However, it looks like for now, at least, Lightside will be able to pick up this first dragon. Going to be that Infernal Dragon, as Natty Nat is all by himself on the Void Grubs, taking those down. So a fairly common handshake trade right here between Dragon bot side and the Void Grubs top side. Kind of hard to see which one benefits which team. You know, some teams just prefer the different objectives, and you just kind of see where they play around. But a lot of it also just depends on the lane positions, and if you can be opportunistic at taking the dragon, then you just take dragon. I will say though, a Yone with Void Grubs can be pretty scary, right? Like, this is a champion that certainly can go into a side lane and do some split pushing things. So getting 3 into his belt already, nice stuff for him.
Yeah, he's by no means a walkover when he goes up against him very easily. Gets the better hand of them, you could say, as he finally managed to get that recall off. Was stopped by Torek a couple of times, meaning that he loses quite a bit of this wave in the top lane. Natty Nat is fishing for something, but Bucci won't overstep. Might be sensing blood in the water and just plays it safe build, being able to claim all that CS. Very happy in the end though.
He's doing pretty well here in this top side. Bucci, if you remember, in Lightside's victory was absolutely instrumental. I think he was on the Cassante, wasn't he, when they beat Lion's Creed, and he was able to do some really, really nice things. So I've been quite impressed by Bucci. He's been He's been very solid in that top side, and you were mentioning about adaptability and perhaps even... Oh, wait, let's hold on a second here.
Yeah,
Dr.
Alex,
Chaos.
hold it up. Ignite comes through, lacking a bit of damage though, so Dr. Chaos not able to get that kill. I was kind of waiting to see if Alex would either face shield out or flash away there, just to be completely on the safe side. Torek, with that Pop Blossom, could look for the all-in. As the tension slowly but surely starting to rise here, and it feels like we're getting ever so slightly closer to our first blood. And Alex,
Yes.
in particular, has been under pressure this game.
This would be great, this harass on mid, if there was something for light side to take, but there are no objectives around. Not even really getting any deep vision down either, so it doesn't mean too much right now that Alex is low on HP. Just to finish the point I was saying about Bucci, I think he's got quite a diverse champion pool. Plays a lot of different styles of champions as well, which is very nice for light side being able to be adaptive in the draft, as we are getting a cheeky little gank in mid and top, both solo lanes here. He's in trouble.
Good flash away from Bill. And what happens in the mid lane? Somehow Alex goes in but overstays his welcome. Dr. Chaos forced to flash out. Same goes for Torek, so someone has used, but the first blood over to light side.
Alright, Dr. Chaos is really on point here so far at this stage of the game. That was just very simply a roam from
No
bot, and
cleanse,
he's in
Ragnar
trouble.
forced to flash as well. Ignite still ticking. One more auto will do it, and it does. Silky Smash though taken low. Can Dr. Chaos punish here? No flash, no ignite. Silky Smash does have a bit of damage early on. The Winds of War goes wide and just barely connects. Not enough. Silky Smash. Good cleanse to be able to get out. Not quite capturing Jack, but it's good enough as EMP. Will he go for the dive here? Flash Heartbreaker is a possibility. Will instead just look to crash the wave.
And so what happened in the mid side for that kill there is Dr. Chaos showed early, and you know we saw the harass that went on to Alex from that first roam by Dr. Chaos. But then Natinat came around for a gank a little bit later on, but Dr. Chaos was already there and surprised Ruddy, and they were able to just kill Alex before anything else had really happened. So very nice roaming going on there. Of course, it's typical if you've ever played support that when you roam and do something good on one side of the map, your ADC will die solo in the bot side, and I'm sure, you know, question mark ping you and be like support diff and whatnot. So we all expected that to happen, and Ragnar losing both the summons there. It was written in the stars.
Dr. Chaos, though, investing a lot of time towards this mid lane, has been able to claim something out of it. Let's see what happens here first, though. Torek, feeling quite strong, does get locked up by the wind becomes lightning. Engage coming through, he's now CC'd up. Should go down here, Pop Blossom has been popped. Good bit of damage, but not enough to get Natinat down. He's able to find the kill first. Now the Heartbreaker, though, comes through Edward, the first target, and that's the resets as the curtain call comes through as well. 2 kills to light side on a play that Ruddy wanted. They're the ones being punished as Build with a horrible TP finds his own fate sealed as Bucci claims his second of the game.
Woof, good stuff there for light side. Not so good for Ruddy. Again, looking pretty disjointed in that play. Not really on the same page of what they wanted to do. Natinat perhaps going forward just a little bit too much. And yeah, that TP definitely suboptimal. But we spoke a little bit in the pregame about the counter engage from light side. If the likes of Ruddy do want to jump in, there's so many tools to just keep people alive and keep them going for a little bit longer. And you saw them at work there, right? The Galio ulti, the Pop Blossom as well, buying so much time, allowing the rest of the team to get in and to mop up those kills. This will be the second dragon of the game here for light side. An Infernal and a Cloud, with Ocean being the soul. But if this gets to be 6 Grubblies here for Ruddy, to be honest, that's not a bad combination. What's the word? Yes. Sorry, I just completely forgot how to speak my language for a second.
Very weird, the fact that I'm the one having to help you on your language. You know, that's kind of
consolation.
That feels weird.
Why was that so? Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
I mean, good combination with the champions and a good consolation prize as well. I really rate the Void Grubs. You just often don't notice it, but when you all of a sudden realize, holy moly, I'm dealing a lot of damage to this turret, where's this coming from? You realize the Void Grubs are helping out quite significantly as well, and getting them this early in the game as well makes it that much easier to get a couple of plates while your opponent is gone. And for Silky's Math, with Dr. Chaos rotating that much, he might be able to just find 1 or 2 more plates within the next minute, if Dr. Chaos doesn't decide to just stay down here and make sure that won't happen.
Yeah, he's got 1 minute to do it. It's looking pretty unlikely. I think, to be honest, like with Void Mites on someone who wants to split push like Yone, very, very nice. The question just becomes, can he match a side lane against Lightside's team? I think if he goes into an item with some magic resist, he'll be pretty solid, right? Like, if you think about what's going to happen if Alex goes into a split push, it's going to be matched up most likely against the Gwen, maybe at times Torak just wave clearing. But if he gets collapsed on and stuff, he might be running into the likes of Dr. Chaos again, more magic damage. Viego doing a little bit here and there as well, so get a lot of value out of that.
Oh, finds the play on both of them. The cleanse is good, but doesn't matter at all. 4 members of Lunker's Lightside want this play, and they will make it happen. EMP out alive. Same goes for Dr. Chaos. And it's clean up at aisle 4 for Ruddy, because there's a lot of blood pin spilled down here.
Torak really good there. That was a very sneaky engage. Taking over a minion, using the Proto Belt, getting that ulti. Beautiful stuff right there. Again, not a huge amount to be claimed as far as objectives go, but that's just a great amount of gold just in the back pocket here for Lightside. You can see 2,000 now advantage for Lightside, who are looking to pick up their second win after surprising Lions Creed last week, bringing them down. Ruddy, their woes continue, and it looks very similar to how we saw them struggle before. I think there's a lot of talent on this team, but just a little bit disjointed as a unit.
Alex looking to a little bit of a trade, but he gets punished again. Look, as soon as you see Lightside going for play, it's because they know they'll win it. There'll be 1 or 2 members ahead of you in terms of like rotation and their proactiveness of this team. I'm thinking back right now, to what we witnessed in Game Week 1, and they were horrible. They were being used as cleaning wipes, just wiping down counters as they were being clapped. Now, they are the one dominating. This is impressive. Dr. Chaos is back in the bot lane, and he wants more blood. Ragnar gets Edward and Silky Smith low. He himself, though, does take quite a bit of damage. First item completed for Silky Smith, and he's starting to slowly but surely cut through Dr. Chaos HP, but no way out. The turret does something, but Edward is able to sidestep, and Herald will be the consolation prize here for the side of Lightside, as Torak forced to use his flashes. Alex TP'd back in and tried to seal Torak's fate.
Something I want to pick up on here in the itemization, actually, of these champions, because we are, I mean, is it fair to say season 14 is still new? I don't know. These still feel like new items to me.
Just a bit less than a month, right?
Yeah, okay, cool. So Galio's got an item called the Solstice Sleigh. Not sleigh like sleigh, but you know, sleigh like Father Christmas sleigh. It's the one item there with it's the ward item with the charges. Essentially what this item does, whenever you like slow someone or like CC them, you buff the nearest ally. It gives your basically you make them faster. They can speed up towards you, and it's really nice for like the engages of Lightside, where Galio kind of just jumps in, you know, maybe taunts someone, or if he jumps in with his ult or something like that, for the rest of the team to then run and follow up. So to kind of chain this engage, I think it's a really, really solid item. It's not one that we see a huge amount, but I think it's really, really solid for Galio and what he wants to do this game.
Yeah, I think the new support items are really cool. I do like them. I'm a guy who plays a lot of different roles, but I've been in support role for many years back when I was younger. And, I mean, the variety in these are really cool. What else is cool? A full-blown 4v3 situation where it's actually really doing good so far. Silky Smith might be down to half, but Bucci is low as well. Here comes Torak though. Oh! Stopped by the Ornhorn. And now he can't find the engage. He's rooted up. Forced to pop the Pop Blossom. Only on one, and his fate finally being sealed. No flash, remember. As now it's ready. Going crazy. Finding 2. They'll get more. Dr. Chaos next on the death note as he goes down. Double kill to Silky Smith as Ruddy look to tie up the game.
3 kills there for Ruddy. Easy as you like, and as you mentioned, a double for the ADC. Very happy about that one. They'll be able to pick up the dragon here too, as Alex is going to go topside and get a lot of work on that top tower. Of course, we already mentioned the fact that they have the 6 stacks of the Void Grubs there, so really, really great stuff for Ruddy. Like, I can't overstate just how much they gained out of winning that team fight. Insane stuff. And just a little bit too much there for Lightside. They were kind of the somewhat the initiators of that play, but too many cooldowns were up. weren't able to get the combos that they wanted, the lockdown, the CC. Ruddy able to punish perfectly in that situation.
That was a bit of an experience, you could say. This game, back and forth, both teams showing their strength. Ready though, will lose this tier 1. No, they won't. What? Can he get it? Oh, he will still get the charge through. Dr. Chaos showing off his Tokyo drifting, I guess, as yeah, go on, Foxtrot, say something.
Yeah, no, I love it. Everyone loves a good Tokyo Drift reference. So it was that's before your time, though. Right?
No. Look, I might only be 20, and I know you're close to having to retire
death.
and everything, but
Yeah.
close to death.
Big grand old age of 30. No, but legit,
wow.
Tokyo Drift, 2006 movie, mate. You were, what, 3?
It's from a movie. I don't know where the movie's from. I didn't know where the meme was from, but Tokyo Drifting and the song as well. A big part of my childhood. It was, came after MLG culture and all that in 2012.
I see. Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll give you a pass then. You're sprightly enough to get the references, even if the original one is. The foundations were built when you were a wee bab. Fair enough. But yes, good old Tokyo Drifting with Shelly.
Thank you.
No, I got you. It's fine.
I do appreciate, the age diff on this show, especially. I don't know. I can't remember how much younger Middle Cut and RUD is. Same goes for Initialize, but I've been grouped with all the plus 30 years old here on the broadcast as the youngest member of the team. It's a bit of a rough one, but at the very least, I'm the one furthest from death, as Hiprain today has been talking about him being close to falling down
with his,
on death the whole round while being on stream.
That is true. He's not feeling well, bless him. Well, we hope that he feels a little bit better watching some classic League of Legends, if he is even able to keep his eyes open for when he's not on the desk. But
you're making it sound like he's on at the retirement home or something. Some caretaker has to come in and open his eyes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hiprain?
He made it sound like that when he was describing
he did. He really
how he
did.
was feeling.
Nah, I mean,
yeah.
I have to be completely honest. He does genuinely feel sick. I had to sub in here on the cast for him today, as he simply wouldn't be able to carry through a whole show. So hopefully he does get well soon. It's not just the age of 30 catching up with him. It is a bit of a sickness that's going over him. Regardless, I think that's enough about Hiprain and how he's one step away from knocking on death's door. I do want to get back to our game here, because I think it is getting very close. 500 gold separating the two teams. Baron on the map. Dr. Chaos, the one going for the engage. TP's coming in. These fights taking quite a while, as no one really has the burst damage to cut through anyone. Dr. Chaos survives thanks to the luck of the Iron Solari and the stack of armor that he has bought. And just to quickly get back to our old topic, we have been sent a picture from Hiprain. He's in his blanket and he is making do with the circumstance. So that is good to hear. He is still alive and will be on the desk after this game.
We love a cozy king. Get well soon, Jake. I'm a little bit perturbed here for Lightside. I'm not gonna lie. This engage here from the Galio was more or less exactly what Lightside want, as far as a look-in goes, and it just culminated to absolutely nothing. I don't even think they got 10% of someone's health bar. It just didn't do anything at all, and in response, Ruddy were able to put down a whole world of hurt onto Lightside. It's going to be tricky here. Bucci, he's in trouble.
He does have the TP coming through, though. Never mind. 4 members of Ruddy will be here. Build the target at the moment. Quite tanky, but could still die with just a bit more time. Pop! Blossom will find 2, and Nadinet survives for now. Edward forced to flash over the wall. As Nadinet makes it out, the jungler will still be alive, as now the re-engage slowly but surely coming through. Silky Smath wants to play this, but it's a fight that you are losing. You can't find anyone. They are low, but not out yet. Yes, you say, maybe they're going for the Nash, but here comes Alex Ragnar. Has his fate sealed, but Silky Smath falls as well to EMP. It is 4 into the hands of Lundqvist Lightside.
4 for 1. Very nicely played there for Lightside, and it started with what I thought was Bucci being in trouble. I think he's got ulti. He does have ulti.
Oh, he wants to turn this. What is he cooking?
Kind of drunk, I think.
What?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I don't
He's
get
got
that.
flash. He's got. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that happened. So that's Dragon. That's Dragon now going over to light side and the 5th kill. So it's slowly but surely is an ace for light side there. I loved the kind of counter engage. You know, like again, it's something that we talked about coming into the game, which is how good light side is at turning these fights and if Ruddy want to be the ones engaging, then Lightside have so many tools to kind of just deny that from happening or make it really difficult for Ruddy to continue an extended fight. And in that situation there, Torek with the teleport coming through topside as well, plus the Galio ulti, Ruddy just weren't expecting it. And then before you know it, 5 members strong in that topside for Lightside. Just really, really nicely played. And see, to me, that is the indication of a nicely thought out team play, which is something we haven't really seen yet from Ruddy. Ruddy's been able to get good advantages at various points in this game, and to be honest, across the whole time they've been here in NLC this split. But just looking for that kind of team cohesion, I still just haven't really quite seen it. Not to spell any doom or gloom for them as a roster or anything like that, but I want to see these guys unlock their full potential.
I do really want to mention as well, my genuine worry at the moment for Ruddy is the fact that they're lacking damage. They're full AD, Silky's mad, he's going an unhit build, understand they're getting a bit of magic damage, but he's invested a lot into magic resist as well. He hasn't gone for the full unhit damage build, because at the moment he's building a lot of defensive items as well. Alex also going for the on hit and going for a bit more defensive items first and foremost, instead of going for the straight IE second. So they need more items to scale up, but the thing is, same goes for light side, and they are slowly but surely coming online, while I do feel like Ruddy are still an item and a half away maybe.
The thing that I'm just not really a fan of with the on hit from Varus here is you don't want to walk up anywhere near the side of light side, right? Like if you walk up close to a Galio, to a Nico, they're going to engage on you and you're going to be in a lot of trouble, right? And if you get that close to someone like Gwen, she'll just slide in towards you. Viego can just ult and then combo you as well. Like, essentially, what I'm trying to say is, I don't think this is a comp where you want to team fight closely, right? And so for Varus, he has a few options in his build, and this one that Silky's Mathers has opted into being the on-hit build. You need to weave in a lot more auto attacks to be effective, and auto attacking means you're getting up close to people. I get that you've got a full AD squad on your side, and so maybe you didn't want to go lethality because it's a bit gammy to, you know, buy lethality into a team that can just stack armor. But when you look at the side of light side's characters, there's not really a lot of champions there that will be stacking armor, right? So I still think he could have got away with that lethality, and I think that would have benefited him a little bit more.
Alex? What kind of situation is this man finding himself in? Forced to fail seed out. Now the TP comes in, but surely not to commit, just to make sure his mid lane is out. Build is down here now, helping out. A couple of confusing minutes here for Ruddy, as I'm not too sure what is going on. Light side feel in control, but this game isn't over. The gold is still very even. Ruddy still have the potential to win it, but they need to be careful of the Drake spawning in a minute and 30 seconds. That is the soul for light side, so they don't want to give that up. They want to reach their item spikes beforehand, but looking at it, look at Silky's Math build. He's built a very tanky build, which is fine for the tankiness, but I feel like this team is lacking damage.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's looking kind of tough, to be honest, overall. But we'll see. To be honest, I still think there's enough of like lockdown from both teams that if you catch the right person, you will be able to find that pick and then roll with that into a team fight win. That is a Jack show, by the way, 3rd item on Varus.
Yeah,
Now we
exactly.
have seen obviously like Tank Varus. You know, I'm gonna hold that thought. Here's another engagement.
Yeah, they want to get Imp, and it will be so crucial, and they do. Silky's Math being the target, but look at how tanky he is built. Just about as tanky as well. Silky's Math now forced to flash out after soaking up so much damage. Bucci is low, but not dead yet. And now it's Lightside turning it around. Ragnar completely untouched. Flashes forward, and he finds the kill as well. Double for him. It's fantastically played. As he finds 2. Now, though, they will both be gone with the soul spawning in 30. I think this is bad for Ruddy.
It's looking kind of tough here, isn't it? This is like the third time, I think, this game that there's been a bit of an engage at that tier 1 mid tower, at Lightside's tier 1 mid tower. But actually, the 2 times previously, Ruddy had come out on top, but this time it was a different story. Lightside have really picked up the slack in this one. I do think a big person to keep your eyes on as this game moves forward is going to be Bucci on that Gwen. The amount of true damage that comes through when you have, you got, well, just like the ramping consistent damage. Obviously, Gwen by herself already does a lot of true damage, but you add in like Nash's Tooth, the ramping damage from, oh my goodness, I can't remember what was that. Oh crap, I've forgotten what it's called now. The one that used to be a mythic, but also the Conqueror as well. She is just dicing through Riftmaker, that's one, dicing through everyone in this game. She's exceptionally scary.
Yeah, she is very strong. Lightside are playing well, and now they want even more again. 99 is the target. Removing that smite would pretty much just secure the barrel, and secure it they will. 99 goes back in, but it is pure desperation. Baron and Soul into the hands of Lightside, and just like that, it only required 3 kills. Foxtrot, they now have complete control of this game.
Alright, y'all, Darklin, it's a toughie here. Like just 2 minutes ago, we were talking about Ruddy actually doing some good things and being in a good spot, and Lightside really struggling to find any meaningful engages. As I don't know, I think Silky Smash going to get out of this one here. Lightside won't be able to pick up anything off the back of that. Alex now bot side has really given into his full role of being a split pusher here. With that 6 grub stack, is able to take things a little bit faster, and I don't think, no, there's not a fight going to happen there. So some more towers into the pocket of Ruddy here. You would imagine, considering how this game has gone, a 2.5k gold difference is probably a bit generous for Ruddy.
Wow.
Maybe they should be a little bit further behind, but they have picked up a lot of standing gold on the map, so credit to them for that.
Now though, 3 items on Alex. That's his big turning point in my opinion. Now we can start to see him do a lot. Still though, Silky's math building towards his 4th, and he's a few more items to really deal good damage. Torek, Pop Blossom finds 3, and it's a great engage. They're going for Silky's math, but he's alive for now, trying to do some damage in return. But look at how much healing there is. Dr. Chaos, it takes 10 seconds to kill just the support. The fight though continues as Bucci heals up as Nedinet looks for Torek. Can't find him as he goes golden. Alex goes in, but instantly forced to go out. He's so low, and now it's Lightside walking forward. They are healing up. Pretty much all full HP. There's Ocean Soul, making it impossible for them to go down.
Exactly. It's precisely what is happening here. It actually looked pretty good for Ruddy there at times, but my goodness, that healing is so grotesque. It is vile right there. Everyone with that full health bar, meaning they can continue not only the team fight, but the push after the team fight, and then a little bit of cheeky counter invading, a rotato to the bot side as well. I don't think this tower is going to survive. It might do, actually, though. I think Lightside will be pushed off just a little bit here, so this tower will stand for now. But it's all looking like Lightside's game at this point here. We do have the Elder Dragon spawning relatively soon as well. Keep your eyes on that as the next big objective in the next big fight.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can turn this around. Stealing an Elder Drake. Because they just don't have the damage to go through them. And I talked about Alex now finally coming online, having the damage. The problem is, he's built damage, so he's very squishy. And look at the damage that there is on the side of Lunkus Lightside. He can't burst anyone down when he goes into these 5v5s. He has to hit all 5 with an ultimate to even be able to get some damage off. If he only hits 1 or 2, well, the other members will instantly turn around on him and pretty much just one-shot him. Silky's math doesn't have the damage. He's built this hybrid build that, yes, slowly but surely will kill someone, but it requires 20 seconds.
Yeah, and again, I hate harping back onto this same point, but I think there's an angle for Alex to get into these team fights if he's with his team at the beginning of the fights, right? Ornhorn goes down, Natty Nat jumps in.
1v2, yeah, I think he's just dead here, right? There's
done
no way he gets out of this. He might be able to do some damage, but rooted up. Heartbreaker comes through.
Hang about.
Fate sealed. Okay. Doesn't change that his own fate was death.
Yes.
The 4th time he now goes down. Edward can't quite fight the Son of Blade. Don't think it would have changed about Dr. Chaos, the one to sacrifice himself for the team, but with his build, it takes quite a while for him to die.
Just to finish off and cap off what I was saying,
Yeah,
I
go
think
on.
Alex has windows, like he can do things in these team fights, so there's still hope in these team fights for Ruddy. But he needs to jump in when all the CC goes down, when like the Zinzao jumps in and does his stuff too. In that last team fight we saw, he jumped in after everything had been slapped down. So then, yes, it's very easy for him to get focused and to just die. So again, it just seems like they lack a bit of cohesion here. And potentially that is what's holding them back in this one. But it doesn't mean that it's all over for now, though we should really just be singing Lightside's praises, to be honest, the way that they've been able to control this game and these team fights especially.
Giving the gold to Silky Smith as he has now reached that 4-item spike just in time for what could likely be the deciding and final fight of the game. Torek cosplaying as a ward as we speak. Let's see if they walk into the trap.
Surely it's that a wanky angle. Surely they see that that's not a real ward.
Oh, Nag could get into the pit. He needs to steal this because if they don't steal it, they just instantly die, and they won't even have the damage to cut through Lightside's HP bars.
They don't
and that
know.
Ocean Soul. Yeah, they know that something is up with that ward, but Net needs to know what is going on with this Elder as well. Dropping down to 6k HP. They've targeted Torek, but they can't kill him. He goes golden instantly. Back to Chaos, soaking up all the damage. And look at the needle weight. It's just cutting through everyone. Lightside are dominating the fight. Just as we expected, the curtain call comes through and Silky Smith in a 1v4 finds one before he himself falls, but it's too little to no avail. They find Bucci and Alex tries to believe in the miracle as the Fate Seal gets him out, but that is only enough to watch his own kingdom fall. He would have to win this 1v3, but there's no way that happens up against the MP.
Alex just running for the hills, trying to find some sense of safety in his base. As you said, not going to happen, and with a huge minion wave, or big enough minion wave in the top side here. Lightside will probably just be pushing for the win. There's 20 seconds until a carry is up. I don't think Lona by herself will be able to stop them.
Maybe.
We'll see, there's potential to stop it.
And needs to clear this first wave, so they'll have to spend more time. But no, they're focusing the structures, they're playing it smartly. And even if Silky Smith manages to make it out in time, I don't think he has the damage to cut through the HP bars in the seconds needed. Still though, slight bit of tension here. Comes out now. No, the Nexus is the focus. They're playing it smartly. Not making any dumb mistakes. Not playing aggro. Lightside take the game, and Ruddy go down to 1-4. Lightside improve their score to 2-4.
Very impressive there from Lightside. I think honestly, as a
good.
unit, as a team, they did. They looked really good actually. I think Dr. Chaos's roams early were honestly sick. I think Torek as well with his engages. He didn't pick up a kill until like right at the end of the game. He was like 0, 2, and 12 or something, but he was all over the map setting plays up as well. Just as a team, I really think they had a nice little kind of, I don't want to say death ball comp, but like a lot of CC, a lot of tools to do with what Ruddy wanted to do. And Ruddy just weren't able to find the windows to get in and to punish Lightside.
Lightside synergy this game was really good. I was very impressed with it. They played really good. And the strength doesn't lie in the individual, it feels like. It lies in how they play together. Like, they just... When I look at that roster, I mean, I see the potential. But they are looking really, really good when they come together. Like, some of those 5 parts are very good. That is my conclusion after this game. Ruddy, go down to 1-4. Still a lot to be decided. Yeah, I felt this game just didn't feel like the Ruddy I've seen in the first 2 weeks, to be honest. They put up a bit of a fight, but I have many questions about that game, to be honest with you. And hopefully they can get back to their week 1 form. Getting a coach in hopefully will help as well. Probably Don Jake on the interview will tell more about that. Or whoever comes on. Regardless though, we'll throw it to a break. When we come back, the analyst desk will break that game down and interview both the winners and the losers.
Break it down, break it down. Step on the gas, let's get out of town. We're gonna break out and have some fun. We're gonna do what you never done. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, take your body with